A Brooklyn warehouse party turns into a glitter-soaked nightmare when the undead crash the scene. Can drag queens, frenemies, and party kids survive a night of glam, gore, and zombie chaos? Let's dive into the wildest apocalypse you've ever seen.
Survive, survive!
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
The movie opens with a drag queen inside a church, where she receives a notification on her phone showing that a user named Choir Daddy has matched with her on a quirky app. She goes to the priest's office looking for Choir Daddy, but to her shock, she sees blood on a phone lying on the table. And just then, she's startled by the priest standing behind her. She regains her composure and tells him that he is stiff, but the priest suddenly lunges at her and bites her neck, tearing it open. Next, Sam, a nurse, tries to calm a patient who insists her name is Jane, not Jason, and explains she hasn't finished her paperwork due to being hospitalized. Sam tells her he's really happy to see her awake and asks if she has anyone he can call. Jane says no, because she's not from around here, but she's feeling fine and just wants to leave. Sam replies that she needs one more drip, and in the meantime, they'll figure out how to get her cleaned up. Meanwhile, Nico and Jinsey are arguing over something when Kelsey explains that there have been a few dropouts, so Dree suggested giving Nico a chance. A boy tells Kelsey that he got a last-minute gig nearby that pays more than his rent, so he is leaving. Meanwhile, Drew gets a call from Yasmin, who tells her she can't come because she's sick. Dre insists she has to push through since she's the star of the show, promising that she'll have her home by 10. Meanwhile, Nico goes live online and tells his followers that he's debuting at Yum tonight with his good friend Yasmin. Jane is watching the stream, and when Sam asks who he is, Jane explains that Nico is her dealer, the one who gave her the oxys, and that he's performing with Yasmin tonight. Sam says he knows Yasmin because he used to be a regular at the Yum parties, and they were all part of a core group called Ride or Die. He mentions he was close with Drew, but that was another life. Just then, Lizzie enters and asks Sam if he can cover a double shift tomorrow. He agrees, and she jokes that his dedication is starting to worry her. After Lizzie leaves, Sam tells Jane that she's trying for a baby. Jane jokes that straight people can be so cringy, but Sam corrects her, explaining that Lizzie and her wife are actually lesbians. Later, Lizzie calls Drew, who tells her that they are totally messed up. Lizzie asks what happened, and Drew tells her that Yasmin canceled. The DJ is missing, and the toilet is still clogged. Lizzie says, maybe it's time to move on, but Dree says she doesn't want Yum to end badly, and if Yasmin doesn't show up, all the Brooklyn gays will call her a gaslighter. Lizzie says she can send Sam, but Sam says no. Drew tells her she can't hold his hand tonight, and she can't risk him ditching her again. Just then, a new patient comes in, and Lizzie hangs up the call. The club finally opens for the night, but almost no customers show up. Jinsey is making jokes and trying to entertain the few guests, to which Barry says the person is funny and asks, "Who is this guy?" Nico asks, "Who are you?" To which Barry explains he is Dree's wife's brother. Just then, Sam walks into the club, and when Jinsey sees him, she announces that they're about to witness a resurrection, saying Simone Say is in the house. Sam goes to Drew, and Nico asks, "Who's this?" Sam apologizes to Drew, but Dree says it's fine, saying he's here now and tonight will be great. She then tells Nico to let everyone know that Simone Say is here. Meanwhile, Barry sees a woman outside and tells her that the club entrance is in the front, but she ignores him and keeps coming closer. He asks if she's okay, but she still doesn't answer and just walks toward him, then suddenly stops. Annoyed, he turns around and goes inside, saying he hates Brooklyn, but before the door closes, the woman puts her hand in to stop it. Meanwhile, Nico asks Sam, "What's your tea?" Saying you were starting to rise and then you suddenly disappeared? Jinsey tells Nico to shut up, but Nico says, "All I'm saying is, Simone Say, a fan favorite, didn't show up at Yum Fest. It's the first thing that comes up when I Google you." Sam asks for Nico's name, and Nico walks up to him and says, "Scrumptious. It's a pleasure." Sam replies that he's heard of him, to which Nico tells him not to be jealous, saying, "It's very unbecoming." After Nico leaves, Jinsey asks Sam what happened that night, to which Sam says he panicked and ran. Jinsey says he froze, and it happens, but Sam says he never had stage fright before, not even as a kid, until that night. He says the crowd wanted him, They were hungry for him, and he just couldn't do it. Jinsey tells him, "Drag is not life or death. It's supposed to be fun." She calms him down, saying they're going to go back out there and kill it. Meanwhile, at another club, someone suddenly drags a man out of the photo booth, and a zombie comes in and sits down. And as the woman turns around, the zombie attacks her, and her photo prints out. Back at Dree's club, the crowd slowly starts to grow, and people are having a good time. But one of the dancers, Jax, gets too high from the drugs Nico gave him, and he stumbles out of his cage. Meanwhile, Sam has another panic attack and is about to run out of the club when Jax stumbles into the bathroom. Sam asks if he's okay, but Jax just sits on the toilet and starts crushing more drugs. He asks Sam if he wants a little inspiration, but Sam shakes his head and walks away. Outside, the zombie queen has entered the club, and at the same time, Barry watches a video about a zombie attack in Brooklyn. The zombie queen tries to attack the clubbers, but they don't realize she's a real zombie, and they think she's just another clubber like them. However, Barry notices her strange behavior. He runs to Jimmy and tells him there's a problem outside, but the zombie queen bites off a clubber's arm. Barry panics, grabs an axe, and climbs onto the counter, shouting for everyone to move back. He throws the axe, but the zombie dodges it, and the axe ends up hitting Kelsey's leg, causing her to scream in pain. Jimmy quickly turns on the lights and tells everyone to get out. Sam assures Kelsey that everything is going to be okay, and to distract her, he asks her to tell him something special about herself. Meanwhile, Barry warns Drew that something bad is happening outside, but she tells him to call Lizzie. Sam suddenly pulls the axe out of Kelsey's leg, making her scream in pain. Drew tells someone to call 911 because she keeps getting a busy signal. Then, out of nowhere, everyone's phone goes off with an emergency alert. Multiple violent attacks reported across all 5 boroughs. No known motive. Stay inside and shelter in place. Meanwhile, Jane sees the alert too. And just then, Lizzie enters the room and locks the door. She then rushes to the wash basin and vomits. And when Jane offers her a drink, Lizzie tells her that she's pregnant and that something very bad is happening. Barry explains that the creature wasn't human, and Jimmy agrees with him. Barry explains that it was clawing at people, and even bit the dancer kid, which is why he threw the axe. He describes it as having a face like a corpse, or maybe an alien, or possibly a lizard person. Drew says it's a nightclub, and people act crazy, but Jimmy says others saw it too, and Nico adds that his feed is full of panic videos. Suddenly, gunshots ring out from outside, and Jimmy runs off, saying he has some chains behind the bar. He pulls out a bag from behind the curtain, containing a crossbow, and Dree warns that neither of them really knows how to use it. Jinsey turns on the TV, where the mayor urges everyone to stay indoors. A reporter mentions horror-like incidents, and the mayor acknowledges the rumors, but makes it clear that this isn't a George Romero movie, and that zombies don't exist. At the hospital, an announcement calls all staff and patients to the cafeteria, but the announcer suddenly gets attacked and screams. Lizzie tells Jane they are getting out of the hospital, but a person suddenly stumbles in, and realizing that he's holding an arm, they jump back in fear. Jane starts throwing things at him, and when he moves closer, Lizzie hits him with a fire extinguisher, knocking him down. Back at the club, Drew suggests they'll stay inside and let whatever is happening outside play out. She tells Nico and Jinsey to gather any food they can find, and then she asks Barry to go and secure the premises. As he is leaving, Drew asks Barry to leave the front door loose, as Lizzie could be here any minute. Just then, Jax comes out and Barry says it's one of those things, but Dre insists it's just one of their dancers. Sam asks what he took, and Nico says definitely Xanax, but he's not sure about anything else. Sam calls out to Jax, asking if he knows where he is, but Jax tries to bite him, so Sam steps back. Barry says he's going to smoke it, but Nico says it's still their friend. Barry insists he is not friends anymore, and Jimmy says he is with Barry. Kelsey says her firefighter cousin posted tips for handling these things. Destroy the brain. Decapitate, headshot, impalement. Barry tells Jimmy to shoot Jax in the head, but Dree stops him, saying they're not killing anyone. Nico then reminds everyone about the go-go cage, and they decide to trap Jax inside. They surround him with chairs, push him toward the cage, and Sam quickly locks it inside. Barry asks if they believe him now, but just then, Nico gets a notification on his phone. Jinsey asks if it's another emergency alert, but Nico says it's an app like Grindr, and America's next top bottom is only 30 feet away. They rush after him to the green room, and seeing a woman there, Barry warns that it's one of those creatures, but it's actually Yasmin. Jinsey tells Barry to go ahead and shoot, but Dree stops him and tells Yasmin to come on in. Jinsey asks Yasmin why they should help her after she ditched them earlier, but Yasmin tells her to shut up, saying she knows she put a hex on her podcast. Then she sees Sam and taunts, as usual, that he never finishes anything, not even getting dressed. Jimmy rushes in, saying this is ridiculous, and walks toward the open window. But a zombie suddenly grabs him and tries to pull him outside. Everyone panics and runs to help. And after a struggle, they manage to pull Jimmy back in, but the zombie has already bitten his throat. Drew tells Sam to do something, but Jimmy becomes unresponsive. Jinsey asks Sam if he's dead, and as he nods, the zombie suddenly appears again at the window, startling everyone. They all start hitting it with whatever they can grab to stop it from climbing in. Nico brings a bulletin board, and they press it against the window and start taping it up. After a tense moment, the zombie finally leaves, leaving everyone in complete shock. And when Dree asks what that was, Yasmin admits she was chased. Meanwhile, someone starts cutting through the shutter with a machine, and Kelsey screams for Drew for help. Hearing her scream, everyone rushes over, but the shutter suddenly opens, and they watch as an older woman and two men enter. The woman says they all look healthy and tells them they're here for Kelsey. She checks on Kelsey and asks if she's hurt, and when she sees the bandage on her leg, she asks if it's a bite. But Kelsey explains it's an axe wound. The woman asks who tried to harm her precious woman, and Nico immediately points at Barry. The woman walks up to Barry and punches him in the face, shocking everyone. Barry asks why she hit him and who she even is. She introduces herself as Piper Callahan from Esquire, and her group calls her Pops. Kelsey says, "My girlfriend," but Pops corrects her and says, "Fiancé." She then tells everyone that Manhattan is under attack, and it's only a matter of time before they're surrounded, so they need to move now. Pops explains they have a boat to catch to Queens, and it leaves at dawn, with or without them. Nico asks how they're supposed to get on the boat, and Pops laughs, saying the boat is only for women, non-binary people, and families. Jinsey says that includes all of them, but Pops says she doesn't think so, and points at Barry. He asks what he did, and Dree insists he's family, then adds that they're staying here because they have other people who might still show up. Suddenly, a zombie appears and bites on Tiger's arm. Barry says he's tired of dealing with these things, but when he tries to use the crossbow, it doesn't fire, and he admits he doesn't know how to use it. Pops tells them they might want to look away, and when Dree asks why, Pops presses the drill against the zombie's head and drills a hole straight through. As she pulls the bit out, the zombie collapses to the floor, and Yasmin says, "It was clean." Meanwhile, Lizzie pulls her car keys out of her bag, and as they drive away, it's revealed that her phone had fallen on the ground. Tiger tells Pops that they need to put her down, but not with the drill. She hands the drill to Twiz, who asks if they can wait and see, but Tiger says she can turn any moment, so they have to act now. Pop raises the axe to kill her, but Sam stops her, saying they should be reasonable. Pops then makes a new rule: no preemptive killing. She says the girl stays with them until something actually happens. She adds that 2 out of the 4 people in their group are already compromised, so she needs time to think. Sam asks Drew if she's all right, and she asks him if he can help her. Then, together, they put Jimmy's dead body into a bag. Drew tells Sam that the last time he bailed, she had to refund everyone's tickets. Sam asks why it always comes back to money, but Drew says it was $9,730, her first sellout. Sam says he needed his friend that night, but Dree says what she needed was for him to show up and kill it. He was finally getting the attention he deserved, but he threw it all away for some clock puncher job Lizzie got him. Sam says, chapters change, then asks if she even wanted him here tonight, to which Drew says she didn't want him. She needed him, and that feels even worse. Just then, Nico shows up looking for them and says he knows how they can get to the boat. Nico shows everyone a photo of Yasmin with the zombie and his food truck, saying the truck is big enough to fit all of them. Sam asks Yasmin how she could forget a whole food truck, and she replies, "Do I look like I eat waffles?" Pops asks if the truck is nearby, and they say it's 2 blocks away. Pops tells Nico that if he can get the truck, she can get him to the waterfront, but she can't promise he'll be able to get on the ferry. Nico, Sam, and Jinsey go out on electric scooters, and they see that everyone outside has turned into zombies. They ignore them and keep moving, weaving through the crowd. Eventually, they reach another club where the food truck is parked. They put their scooters into the truck while they enjoy the leftover food there. But only then, 2 cops suddenly walk in. Nico says they're first responders, but Brian says it looks like the 3 of them are up to something. Nico says the station called them in, but Brian asks for the keys, and Nico whispers to Sam not to give them. But when Officer Travis yells, Sam throws the keys to him. Brian then says there's one more thing, and it turns out they were just pranking them. Jinsey says, people are dying around, and they're out here joking around. Brian says she's right, and that they should take the emergency seriously. Travis nods and says they need to treat this like a real emergency. Then they steal the truck and drive off, telling the group, don't forget to like and share. Jinsey suggests returning to Yum to make a plan B, but Nico refuses, saying they see him as just a drug dealer from Bushwick. Sam denies it, but Nico insists they don't treat him like a real queen or even call him scrumptious. When Jinsey does, urging him to come home to his friends, Nico says his only friend is dead and walks away. Meanwhile, Yasmin accidentally causes a short circuit, and the power in the club goes out. Pops, Drew, and Barry go down to the basement to the electrical room, where a note on the door warns them not to close it because there's no key. They enter the room, and Pops pulls the lever, restoring the power. Just then, Barry calls out to Drew, telling her to come see something interesting. As she steps out, he accidentally pushes the door shut, and they realize it locked automatically. Meanwhile, Lizzie realizes they're lost and reaches for her phone to call Drew, only to find she left it behind. Jane says it's fine because she's there and asks for Drew's number, but Lizzie admits she doesn't know it. Suddenly, Jane notices something outside and asks what it is, and Lizzie says it's a mom. Jane insists they should leave, but Lizzie says she has to help and steps out of the car. Jinsey says Nico is going to get himself killed out there, and Sam says he doesn't think he should go back either. Jinsey asks what he means, and Sam says they don't need him. Frustrated, Jinsey says young people act like they need an invitation to belong. She tells Sam that the group needs him, reminding him that Simone brings them laughter and joy. Sam says she keeps talking about Simone, but he locked that version of himself away a long time ago, and he isn't even sure if that person still exists. Jinsey says Simone has been there all along, but just hidden, like light leaking through cracks. Suddenly, a zombie attacks Jinsey, and she screams that she's being bitten on the butt, but the zombie only bit into the foam padding. Another zombie grabs Sam, but Sam slips off his jacket, and as they run, they are stopped by more zombies. Meanwhile, Lizzie approaches the mother zombie and gently tells her that she's a nurse and wants to help. She says, "You can hand me the baby and everything will be all right." But Lizzie realizes that the baby is also a zombie, and in panic, she runs back to the car. Pops tells them she's not alone down there, and they're horrified to see the entire room crawling with zombie rats. They shout for Pops not to let any of them bite her, but one of them bites her, and Pops collapses to the floor. She warns them that there are too many rats and urges them to leave. She instructs them to take Kelsey to the boat, then picks up 2 frayed wires. Before proceeding, she shares the boat's password labia and brings the cables together, electrocuting herself and the rats, sacrificing her life to stop them. Meanwhile, Jinsey and Sam get into an elevator to escape, but as it goes up, zombies climb in from behind them. One of them grabs Sam's leg and pulls him down, trying to bite him, and when Jinsey tries to help, another zombie climbs on her, knocking off her wig. Desperate, Jinsey pulls the zombies off Sam, but ends up falling down the elevator with them. Sam looks over the edge and begs Jinsey to get up, but Jinsey says she doesn't think she can. She jokes that she finally landed in his death drop. Sam says he's coming down to save him, but Jinsey stops him. She tells Sam that Simone is not something he can hide anymore, and he needs to show the world who he really is. Jinsey tells him to go, saying she doesn't want him to see what happens next. Heartbroken, Sam tells him he loves her, and Jinsey is then attacked by the zombies, her screams echoing as Sam leaves. Drew and Barry walk back into the club with shaken faces, and Tiger immediately asks what happened. Drew tells them that Pops is gone, and when Twiz asks what she means, Barry explains that there were too many zombie rats, and Pops was overwhelmed, covered, and bitten everywhere. Kelsey asks if they're saying Pops is dead, and Barry quietly says yes. Kelsey breaks down in tears, collapsing under the weight of it, while Barry hurls a basket off the counter. Later, Dree tries calling Lizzie, and someone finally picks up. For a moment, she thinks it's Lizzie, but the voice on the other end isn't hers. Realizing this, Dree's face falls, and she thinks Lizzie might not be alive anymore. Meanwhile, Lizzie tells Jane that they're close and the zombies are slow, but Jane says she'll never make it because her knee is bad. Dro walks over to her DJ setup, and when the others ask what she's doing, she says she's doing what they always do. Tiger says this is a life or death situation, but Drew replies it's always both. She plays the music, and Yasmin joins her, and the two begin to dance. And after a moment, Barry joins in too. Meanwhile, Lizzie notices that the zombies around her are suddenly moving away, and at the same time, the zombies near Nico's hiding spot also start leaving. All the zombies begin gathering outside the club, and Nico gets a call from Jane, and he tells her that he is coming to her. Meanwhile, Barry goes to Dree and assures her that Lizzie is tough and smart, and he knows she'll make it here. Then he mentions that Lizzie was really playing the baby card to get him to come tonight. Drew asks, "What?" And Barry happily explains that he's going to be an uncle, and he's so excited for them, adding that whatever that kid becomes, he's teaching them how to plumb. Drew, stunned, asks, "Lizzie is pregnant?" And Barry simply replies, "Yes." Just then, Kelsey notices that Sam has returned, but he's holding Jinsei's wig in his hand. Sam, shaken but determined, says they'll have to go on foot, and he knows how to clear the streets. He turns to Dree and tells her to get ready for the wildest party they've ever thrown, because the club is about to be at full capacity. After a while, they open the doors, and both openings pull the zombies straight toward the club, and within seconds, the place is flooded as the undead pour in like a hungry, unstoppable wave. Sam then appears in his full Simone Say avatar, performing a powerful song that finally reveals who he truly is. The zombies begin staggering toward him, but Yasmin and Barry rush in, fully armored, and join Simone Say on stage. Together, they break into a fierce, high-energy routine, their dance moves doubling as blows that knock the zombies back. Afterward, the three of them leap down from the stage and continue fighting their way through the horde. Meanwhile, Kelsey and the others make it out of the club, and Yasmin exits through another door. After a moment, Simone Say and Barry also run outside, celebrating that their plan actually worked. But Sam suddenly realizes Drew should have been out by now. He rushes in and finds Drew surrounded by zombies. He charges in, knocking them down, but as more swarm in, he ends up trapped inside with her. Just then, the zombies' phones start ringing, and it's Yasmin live streaming, announcing that it's time for some BTS. Instantly, the zombies stop attacking and focus on their screens, giving Simone Say and Drew the chance to escape. However, before stepping out of the club, Drew says goodnight, yum, and then shoots the disco ball, letting it fall and crush the zombie queen. They finally make it out of the club, but as they're leaving, Tiger runs back toward the club. Twiz asks what she's doing, and she says she won't make it, so she's going to stay behind and give them a fighting chance. She says she'll hold the zombies back for as long as she can. Twiz tells her he doesn't want to leave her, but she says he has to. He rejoins the group, and they continue walking, but just then, they see a car coming toward them, pulling a parade float, with Nico standing on it. The group lights up, excited to see him alive, and that's when Lizzie gets out of the car. Drew runs to her, lifting her in relief, while Jane warns her to be careful. Barry says he knew she would make it and hugs her tight. And finally, Lizzie turns and hugs Simone Say. Next, we see them all on the boat, finally resting and sleeping peacefully. But then it's revealed that Nico has turned into a zombie, and the movie ends there.